from the body of the letter. And in the body of the letter, let's say, uh, with reference to that, let's say for your general understanding, in the introduction part, we can write down, for example, 25 words in total. Uh, it's not a standard structure, but for your understanding, you have an idea that how can we organize our introduction. In introduction, we may have a chief complaint or the main concern or the diagnosis or differential, whatever is the issue, you have to write it down. Keep one thing in your mind that as you should have a clear reason of writing. Whenever you read the introduction, it must have a clear understanding that why are you writing this letter. Then we have body one. In body one, you can write down social history or past medical history, but depend upon the relevance. It's not the case you always have the social history in the second paragraph or the body one. As I mentioned earlier, that is based on the relevance, followed by the body two. In the body two, we may write it down the overview or the summary of the information. Let's say if you are writing a referral letter, if we have a progression of the disease, maybe we have 2 to 3 visits. So first few visits should be summarized. In case of discharge letter, if it's a ward or rehab history, we have to summarize that. That is followed by the body paragraph number 3. Mostly in case of chronic referral or a chronic to acute, we can say referral, we just have to summarize, so we have to expand the active issue, the today visit. And if it's a discharge letter, we need to expand the discharge plan. That is followed by the conclusion part. Now, in conclusion, we must have a polite action of request required, summary of suspected diagnosis, and thank you for ongoing support. So these are few possible scenarios that we can have in your letter. We have introduction, we have body one, we have social plus past medical history. Then we have body two. In the body two, we can write down the, let's say, summary of your visits, let's say, in a compiled form. If we have a discharge letter, we can write it down summary, let's say for the ward. Then we have body three. We should write it down the recent history or the active issue in the body three. And we have body four, that is your conclusion. So let's say, what are the ideal circumstances for you or the ideal thing that you have to learn to translate the case notes into a proper grammatical structure? The first and foremost is that we should have a proper topic sentence. Now, in a topic sentence, we have a main idea or the main concern. That is your topic sentence. While reading the sentence, you should have an idea that why this letter is being written. Followed by the supporting sentence, that is the explanation of the topic sentence, such as the description of events, description of symptoms, treatment trends, investigations, and so on. And importantly, while transforming the case notes, it is important for you to write it down your own words. Do not write down the word from the case notes, but do write it down. We can say the word, for example, that belongs to yours. Like it should not be the letter of the case notes, right? And then we have a signal words, such as initially, at the time of admission, during hospitalization, and so on, right? So general idea of the topic sentence, product sentences, and so on. Now we have few examples that we like to practice with you in class for your understanding. So we have to transform the case notes into your own words. So you can see there, such as patient complaint of mild abdominal pain. For 2 weeks, pain was constant, word sitting. Now in case 2, we have noticed blood in stool. Past history, we have physio, says stiffness. So I would like you to transform that into your own language. So when we are transforming, let's say rather than writing in this way, initially he presented to me, we can just write it down initially on this date. So to save the word, the complaint of abdominal pain, which was getting is informal word, try to avoid that. He was presented. Now we can just write down initially the patient presented with. No need to mention was presented. Okay. Patient has a history of, yeah, with person. Okay, fine. Patient reported with mild abdominal pain, which is aggravated, fine. Or he reported blood in stool. It should be written in the Dr. Mamuna in the reported speech. He reported that he had noticed blood in stool. Yeah, that is fine. Patient presented with constant abdominal pain. Let's say aggravated, fine. The patient is presented. Ma'am, we should write down patient presented, not is presented. With complaint of, presented itself is a verb, so we cannot use complaint as a verb with an. We can use complaint as a noun with a complaint of, not the. We use the when we have to specify or refer back. So with a complaint of abdominal pain. Now it's in the same date, so we cannot write when the pain is aggravated. The pain aggravated actually. On yes, fine. The patient noticed blood in stool, so we can write it down. The patient reported that he has noted blood in stool, let's say. Or he presented with, Dr. Ruby is sure, he presented with mild persistent abdominal pain, which is aggravated in while sitting or bending position. Or yesterday he had noticed blood in stool. Fine. So anyhow, basically, these are some of the examples we have given to you. Initially on 1st January 2018, 19, Mr. James reported 2 weeks history of mild abdominal pain, let's say, uh, which aggravated while sitting or bending, right? The second example, 2 months back, Mr. Mark presented with a complaint of chronic mild abdominal pain. However, it intensified. We can change the language. Then Mr. James had moderate abdominal pain if it's in the past tense, which was continuous in nature and worse when he sits or bends. The two other example, he reported that he had noticed blood in his stool yesterday, for example, and then Mr. Alex had attended physiotherapy for 4 months. His muscle stiffness did not improve. Or maybe another one, despite Mr. Alex had physiotherapy for 4 months, his muscle stiffness was not improved. So, few example for you. So, is that clear to you? Has been taking, not we can I don't taking. Mr. Alex had physio session for 4 months. However, it should be written in the past tense, the history. All of us has practiced, let's say, about this, how to summarize the discharge, ward stay. As we discussed in the class that your ward stay is important. Sorry, is less important. So you have to summarize them down. So we have practiced, all of us have practiced in, like in class. After ward, we have the rehabilitation. Now, rehabilitation is again more important from ward, but less important from discharge. So I would want you to practice this details. We have a discharge plan. There is no cardiac issue. This is something with home nursing assistance, right? Discharge medication, morphine, and so on to be written. We have to summarize, ma'am, but summarization does not mean to miss something important. So we can see that as well, so that I can explain it to you after that. When you have to transform the case, it's important for you to change the right tense, to use the right tense, for example, specifically in the ward stay. So basically, in the ward stay, you can write it down past simple or past perfect in the ward stay. If you are writing in comparison, like you're writing ward stay and rehabilitation together, so rehabilitation with reference to your discharge will be near past and the ward is the far past. So ward stay history can be written in the past perfect tense and rehabilitation can be written in the past simple tense, provided if you're writing in comparison. Anyhow, we have variety of sentences to be used, which include simple, compound, complex. And for the conciseness, you need to club the information, write an NOV form. There are some of the tools that we may take as a helpful tool. Let's say vital signs were stable. Everything was normal. We just write it down, unremarkable. So, many in the morning, for example, naughty at night with medicine. This is for IVTs, for intravenous transfusion. We can use, therefore, consequently, you have to use these words. So now let's say the first line, over a period of 9 days, his stay in ward was uneventful, except blood transfusion due to low HB.
Now, this line can be replaced, can basically, we can transform this whole visits, this whole information of the ward stay in just one line. For a period of 9 days, his stay in ward was uneventful except blood transfusion, because the rest of the details such as the painkiller, like the medicine management, that we were doing those things just because to make the patient more dependent. Or maybe we can add the rehabilitation and the ward together. Mr. Mark's stay in ward and rehab remained uneventful. He had been transferred with blood. He has been transfused with blood due to low HB, and the rehabilitation program, which includes pool exercises, frame, and trial of stick while walking, help the patient to make him gradually independent. So now this is the summary of your ward and rehab, followed by the discharge plan. Now, discharge plan can be written in expansion. Let's say, at the time of discharge, there was no cardiac issue, and his surgical wound is exposed, and he has been discharged with home nursing assistant with primary focus on his hygienic. Along with that, he has also been provided with domiciliary care for his day-to-day task, or he already has improved mobility as he needs just a little help with showering. However, he still needs stick or frame while walking as per need basis. So it is important for you to make a clear approach as well. As you can see, there were certain things that can be interrelated, that he just need stick or frame and minimum assistance. And in the last visit, it's been written that he has been becoming gradually independent. So we have written together in one line over here. Anyhow, so he has been provided home list for physio exercises, which could help the patient to speed up his recovery. His discharge medication includes colon, warfarin 4 mg, which has to be given at night, let's say nocte, Feritab 150 mg in the morning, paracetamol 1 gram 4 times a day, and oxycodone 5 to 10 mg as per need basis. He has been referred back to repeat his full blood examination INR. In view of last INR, what we have in the basically in the rehab, you can write it down, the last INR over here, right? So this is just an example of the transformation. If you like to